Hello, boys and girls. This is Grandma Wallace, and I have a story for you called Little Flower and the Princess. Koosumo, little flower of India. The warm rays of the sun were beating down upon the grass-thatched roof of a rude mud brick hut in India. Inside the hut, on a blanket on the hard mud floor, lay a brown baby girl fast asleep. There was no need for a covering blanket, for it was a warm day. An inquisitive fly was buzzing around the little brown face and decided to walk around the soft brown cheek. The baby awoke, opened her big brown eyes, and looked up into the face of her mother, who was looking down at her lovingly. "Did that naughty fly wake up my precious baby?" Mother said softly. "But you know it's time to awaken, little Koosumo, my little flower, for soon your father will come from the rice field, and he will be so tired from working all day. We will go to the spring for water, and then we will eat supper together." Little Koosumo did not understand her mother's words, but she smiled because the voice was soft and gentle. After bringing fresh water from the spring, Mother stirred the curry and rice in the black kettle in the corner of the room. The smoke from the fire beneath the kettle curled up between the blackened rocks until it found its way out the open door. While the rice was cooking, Mother played with Koosumo. Then she placed her on the mat on the floor, for she heard Father coming down the lane. She could hear him chanting a weird song that he had learned from the charm doctor. This song was supposed to keep the evil spirits from coming to the house. Now that a tiny little baby girl was in the home, the parents must guard it faithfully, or the spirits might want the baby and take her from them. When Father came in, Mother hastened to serve the supper on large leaves on the bare floor. Father was a big, strong man. His voice was loud and harsh, not low and sweet like Mother's. Sometimes Koosumo would cry because she was afraid. Then Father would say, "Why couldn't you have been a boy? A son would not cry or be afraid. He would grow big and strong like his father." But Koosumo could not answer that question. She could only cry. Then Mother, sweet and gentle, would take her in her arms and soothe her and comfort her. During the long hours of darkness, Mother lay awake, holding little Koosumo very close to her. Many shudders of fear clutched her heart as she listened to the strange night sounds. Everything seemed so dark, a darkness that was made even deeper by superstition. In the stillness of the night, Mother heard the hunting cry of an animal out in the hills. Ooh, she reached over and touched the sleeping baby beside her. The charm doctor had said that trouble would come to their home because the baby was a girl. She knew that Father was displeased because she had not given him a son that would grow up big and strong like his father. With the dawn, she could see the trees and the blue sky with the white clouds. Then she would not be afraid. Somehow, when she could look up into the sky, she did not fear the evil spirits that lurked in the dark corners at night. In the daytime, the ghosts and the spirits kept out of sight. Then she and little Koosumo would go to the spring for water. Months passed, and as Koosumo grew older, she liked to watch Mother cook the rice in the kettle on the little stone fireplace in the corner. Sometimes she, too, would have a handful of warm, cooked rice to eat. Sometimes it was too hot, and Koosumo would cry. Koosumo grew and grew. Soon she was able to crawl off of her little blanket and investigate the house. But Mother was always watching, ever alert. There were many dangers. There was the hot kettle of rice and the fire between the 3 blackened stones. There might also be snakes or even scorpions lurking in the dark corners of the room. There were many dangers in the outside world, too, but Koosumo need have no fear, for Mother would protect her. One day, as Koosumo was looking out the doorway, she saw something that caught her attention. She did not know what it was, but it had 2 bright eyes, 2 little pointed ears, 4 feet, and a tail. "Ah," said little Koosumo, creeping out the doorway. The little animal seemed to be attracted to her. It came nearer, timidly and slowly. "Ah," said little Koosumo again. But before she could reach the little animal, Mother came running out of the house with a stick and chased the creature away. "Go away, cat," said Mother in a cross tone. Koosumo could not understand why Mother chased it away. "Cats," said Mother, as she carried Koosumo into the house. "They are not clean. They bring bad luck. Sometimes the spirits use cats to bring curses to the people. No, my little Koosumo, do not play with the kitty. It is good only to catch the rats and the mice that steal our food." Koosumo would like to have a kitten for a pet, but the people of India in their villages did not make pets out of them. They were only kept to catch the rats and mice. So every day Mother would drive away the skinny, frightened kitties with dirty, mangy hair and rat-like tails. Wrapped in a garment fastened to Mother's back, Koosumo went to the spring for water. Mother carried the earthen jar on her head or on her shoulder, and Koosumo watched the changing scenes as they went down the path. She saw the trees overhead. She saw the beautiful blue sky and the fleecy white clouds. It was a wonderful world. On wash day, Mother went to the pond to wash the blankets and wrap around garments that were their clothing. Koosumo rode on her mother's back, and then she lay on a blanket in a shady place while Mother dipped the garments in the pond and rubbed them on stones to get them very clean. There were not many garments to wash, for Father wore only a wraparound strip of tan cloth with a red fringe that hung down in the front and the back. Mother wore a simple sari of white cotton, which she fastened around her waist and draped over her shoulders. It was in this garment that she carried Koosumo when they went walking in the field or to the woods or by the pond. Then Mother sat beside Koosumo while the garments dried on the bushes. She looked up at the sky. Who put the fleecy clouds and the bright sun in the sky? Who made the moon and the stars at night? Who made my precious Koosumo, my little flower? These and many other questions puzzled the young mother as she watched her daughter sleeping on the mat beside her. Perhaps the charm doctor knew the answers. But no, he was only concerned with driving out evil spirits and taking gifts when there was a wedding or when a new baby was born in the village. He would not be interested in who made the lovely trees and the sparkling water or the beautiful flowers that grew in the lotus pools. She looked up at the trees. The leaves quivered as a little breeze passed through. It touched the hot brown cheek of the sleeping little baby beside her. Koosumo stirred, and a sweet little smile crossed her face as though some pleasing dream had come to her. "Ah, little flower," sighed Mother, gazing fondly at her precious treasure. "Some day, perhaps, we will know. Some day." When the clothes were dry and Koosumo was awake, Mother took up her little burden and worked her way back home. Soon it would be supper time. Soon Father would come from the fields, and the cow would be milked, and another day would end. Night would come, and they would sleep on their mats on the floor. The moon and the stars would float by, and morning would come again. Soon another day's work would begin. Maybe tomorrow little Koosumo would go with Mother to the rice fields to help Father. Koosumo and the Princess. Koosumo grew and grew. It became fun for the little girl to go with Mother to the village to see the many people shopping at the markets. It was fun to go with Mother to the woods to gather sticks and branches for the fire. Koosumo loved to ride to the spring on Mother's back for a cool drink of water on a hot day. But one day there was a surprise for Koosumo. A baby sister came to live in the house. Everyone was excited. Everybody was happy. All but Koosumo. She did not want a baby sister to take her place. Now Koosumo must walk beside Mother when they went to the spring. Baby sister must ride in the blanket on Mother's back. Father liked the new baby, but he was disappointed because she was not a boy. He wanted a son so much. He gave the charm doctor a small gift because the baby was only a girl. But Mother was happy. She called the new baby Kumari, which means princess. She tried to explain to Koosumo that she still loved her little flower too, and that soon the tiny baby would grow big enough to play with her. Koosumo seemed to understand that now there would be 2 mats on the floor, one for her and one for Kumari. She would no longer wish for a little kitty to play with, for now she had a sister. Koosumo soon learned to love Kumari and play with her as she lay on her mat on the floor. Kumari would watch for Koosumo to come. Her bright eyes would sparkle, and she would laugh in glee as she played with her little brown toes. Mother was happy as she watched her 2 little girls playing on the floor. They were very, very dear to her. She must not let any harm come to them. She would keep her little flower and her little princess always, unless the spirits became angry and took them away.